to STLK in the UTA Jazz Podcast. I'm Conjo. This is Paul. We're happy, man.
Purple's back.
We're ecstatic to be here. I mean, we just saw a great win from the Utah Jazz against the Portland Trailblazers last night. I mean, let's start here.
Should we?
Let's start.
That's the best place to start.
I mean, how beautiful and purple and lavender and awesome does this look?
That's the word. Lavender's the word.
They looked phenomenal. Phenomenal. I mean, let's start at the court.
Please.
The court was awesome.
No, it was great.
I mean, obviously, I was there, and I walked down, and you see the white shirts all around. You see the purple court. It wasn't too much like other courts that we've seen, because I've really been bagging on the in-season tournament
You
courts.
really have.
Like, some of them are awful.
Yeah.
The purple looked fantastic. The jerseys on top of it looked fantastic. Everything about it, I absolutely loved. What did you think about it?
I think so. We had different experiences. I was on TV watching it, and you were at the game, obviously. The purple jerseys almost blended in with the purple court.
Yeah.
Which, again, it's on TV. It's a little pixelated.
Yeah, the pic. I mean, that can throw it off.
Yes, it throws it off a little bit, but it was still great. And I think it's better than any other combination we have.
Absolutely.
And the pictures you sent me and some of the stuff I saw on Twitter, man, did it look good.
I loved it.
It looked incredible.
Hey, and it translated to a Jazz win. I mean, there's a million things we can talk about from this game.
Win. Yeah.
One in particular, and I know you know exactly where I'm heading with this. It's been 92 games that the Jazz have given up 100 points or more.
Not anymore.
Not tonight.
Nope.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. 99.
99. It was 115.99. I was about to text you with about 3.5 minutes left when the Blazers were at 98 points. And I was going to say, hey, Conjo, man, were we close. But we did it. We did it.
I'm glad you didn't say anything, right? There's a lot of reverse jinxes, whatever. Yeah. And it's like the Grizzlies game. I was texting you. They were at 45 at half. And I was like, this is the game. And you're like, I believe in history.
Yeah.
Where I feel like if you were texting me and like, giving me a little like, hey, it's on the map. They go over 100.
Yeah.
And I do believe that's correlated.
Maybe they didn't know that the Jazz held the record currently, and they didn't just want to try. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know. But I'm happy about it.
I'm extremely happy about it.
I'm happy about this more than I am about playoff victories in the past. Like, this is great.
This is fantastic. There's also something else.
Please.
Like I said, the game was 99 to 115. And if anybody watched...
I know where you're going with this.
If anybody from last podcast saw... Paul was saying it would be, within 10 the whole game. Didn't really give like a definitive, it will be this kind of thing, but he said it'll be within 10 and I'm going to roll with that. I, on the other hand, said it was going to be we were going to win by 15 or more.
You did.
And we won by 16. So I'm going to take that.
Sure.
I
win this one.
I have to roll with that.
You got to take your few wins that you're going to have this year.
I mean, if I'm going to get that spot on, I have to bring it up.
Yeah.
And I would invite you to do the same. If it happens to you.
When it happens, next game, probably, I want you to clip it and put it all over the socials.
Oh, for sure.
Because I know you're going to with this.
And the thing is I'll give you the respect and do that for you because you're doing the same for me and letting me boost my ego by being so spot on with this kind of thing.
Conjo predicted that the Jazz would win by 15 and they won by 16. There you go.
There it is. So
great job.
I will do the exact same thing for Paul when it happens.
Thank you.
So, lots of fun things about this game. Starting with, something that we've talked about millions of times. Jordan Clarkson.
Man, did he flame on tonight.
I mean, he came out the gate 14 points in the first quarter.
Didn't miss his first 7 shots.
7 straight, correct?
Yeah, 7 for 7.
I mean, we've said this time and time again. We're going to win games when Jordan Clarkson plays good. We're just going to. Especially Lowry, he came out the gate and didn't really find his shot until the second half. And we needed somebody to step up, and that was Jordan Clarkson.
That was Jordan Clarkson. I think it's so important to have 2 separate players that can have big games at any given point. To Lowry's credit, he didn't play great in the first half. And in these games, and maybe casual fans don't realize this, but when they're not nationally televised games, it's very easy for these players to just miss a few shots, kind of fall out of rhythm, and be like, kind of taking the night off, if you will. He didn't do that.
No.
He came out in the second half, had huge plays all throughout, 9 rebounds, which is just massive in a game like this. I'm really pleased with what we saw from the Jazz best player tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and another player, Keontae George.
Man.
I mean, 7 assists, 15 points, only 2 turnovers. He's been just proven that he doesn't turn the ball over.
No.
On top of that, he's averaging 9 assists as a starter. And you were telling me a stat about Clarkson when Keontae's in the game.
When Keontae George is starting, Jordan Clarkson's averaging 30 points per game. which is huge.
That's relative. There hasn't been very many games he's been starting, but still,
yeah, no, that's great.
That's still awesome.
That's great. Another stat I want to touch on in the first quarter. Do you know how many turnovers the Jazz had?
I have no idea.
0.
No.
After 3 quarters, the Jazz only had 7. Finished the game with 12, sure, whatever.
Hey, that's
but
still sweet.
Like only to have 7 turnovers through 3 quarters, that's really promising for a team that didn't even look like they could make a simple entry pass last week.
Yeah.
And now we're doing this again. This is great.
I mean, Kelly Olynyk double-double.
Yeah.
John Collins double-double. That's something you don't see very often.
Yeah. A lot of rebounds.
That was awesome. 10 offensive rebounds between the two of them. Correct?
Is that right?
I think so.
Wow. Okay. Sure. That's a lot of offensive rebounds.
That's a lot of offensive. That's going to win you games.
No, that's going to win you a lot of games.
John Collins has yet to have a bad game.
Mm-hmm. His bad games. I'm looking at it right now. Like, sure, he didn't shoot the ball well. 6 for 16. His bad game, he goes out and gets you 10 boards,
like
14 points, hits a couple threes, 4 blocks or 3 blocks. I'll take it.
Sure.
That's your bad game? Sure. Dunking the ball. He's by far the most athletic guy on the court
he gets
tonight.
an absolute yam of a dunk on an oop from Clarkson. We see Sexton under the legs to Olynyk for the 3.
Yep.
Saw all kinds of stuff tonight.
You know,
it was fun.
It was it felt like a playoff game, if you will.
It felt like a playoff game. It felt like a finals game.
Yeah.
You told me that it was the most attended game this year so far, correct?
Yeah, so far the Jazz, that was the most
Jazz.
it's supposedly 100% capacity. I'm not sure what that means.
I didn't see any open seats next to me.
That's good to
If
hear.
they did, I would have taken their white shirt.
It says there was a reported, 18,206 people that walked in those doors of the Delta Center tonight. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people watching some good Jazz.
In-season tournament game is the reason it probably felt like a playoff game. Man, am I excited about the in-season tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Paul has some serious excitement about this in-season tournament.
More than I might, more than I should probably.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with a lot of the audience. Like, I think it's great. I wish there was some kind of incentive. But, we'll touch on that in a second. But I want you to tell us a little bit more about the in-season tournament, what it means for the Jazz, what it means for the league, kind of a little bit more like that.
Yeah, so we said it last week on the pod. It's more of a round-robin style single elimination, which is really fun.
And it's in pools.
In pools of 5 teams.
So we have the Grizzlies, the Lakers,
Blazers, Suns.
Jazz.
So those are the 5 teams in our pool. Currently, the Jazz are undefeated, which is really cool. A lot of people, when they first announced this, assumed that a 1 loss is going to eliminate you from the tournament. Not because... you're out, but
more
it's
like the March Madness. It's kind of like everyone thought they were going that direction, and there's a little bit more, in the onion than that.
Yeah, there's a lot more. I think that just losing 1 game in the in-season tournament is going to get you at least to the tiebreaker, which just simply comes down to point differential, which is really, really interesting. So the Jazz to come out and win this game by 16 rather than winning by 8 or 9 like I predicted, that's huge for them. The Lakers, they played the Grizzlies last night. They ended up winning the game by 20-something, where AD and LeBron played way more minutes than they should have, but they want the point differential, which is really cool.
And I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So, yeah, the players get paid more. They get $500,000 extra as a little bonus.
Which is where I'm like, what kind of incentive should we give, right? Because it's like, do I really care if Steph Curry makes a couple thousand more?
No, but... Taylor Hendricks might care. That's half of his salary, right? Like he's getting a 50% pay bump. That's pretty cool.
Keontae's going to be pretty pumped.
No, he should be. Yeah, that's a down payment on a small home for him.
So that makes sense. And so I've been talking with a lot of people about and I've been seeing a lot of things on X talking about it. Like what kind of incentive could there even be?
Right.
Because right now it's just cash and then the NBA Cup is basically what you get.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the playoffs. Whatever the answer is, I think it's playoffs
related.
Because
in the MLB, the AL and the NL play in the All-Star game, and whatever conference wins gets home field advantage in the World Series. And I'd like, the NBA is now switching back to East-West, so I'd like to see that kind of thing incorporated. But then you go to the in-season tournament, it's like, what can you do? Because it's like, how much is it really going to impact teams that were already going to make the playoffs in the first place? And especially teams that might not make the playoffs but win this. And then do they just take a seat for the rest of the year?
Yeah, it's hard. So I saw one, I think you're alluding to it, is if you win the in-season tournament, you get an automatic playoff bid. But with the in-season tournament happening primarily in November, the season goes till April. So it's like, we give the Clippers, let's say the Clippers win it. They're not going to, but
I
let's
mean,
say
they're
win.
0-6 with Harden. They're not trending that way.
No, they're not. But let's say they did. And now we're just telling their entire program, like, hey, you can rest all of your players all you want. You're in the playoffs.
Hit
like,
to Cancun. Come right back.
Like you have 4 players that need rest to be good. Yeah, we'll just give you all the rest you need. I hate that approach.
Yeah.
One thing that I love, and I'm not sure if this is original or not, but the winner of the in-season tournament gets an automatic home court advantage as long as they're in the playoffs.
No, that's
kind of
interesting.
The Jazz, let's say they win this somehow.
Yeah.
And again, it kind of take a lot for them to do it, but let's say they did. They now make the play-in. They're playing games at home. They're the 8 seed. They're playing against the Nuggets probably at home. And it's not all of their games, but it's the advantage of having the home record.
That might motivate teams that maybe are on the brink of making it too. You know, like maybe like someone that's like in the 11th, like that needs that push to make the play. And they're like, well, if we make it, we'll have home court advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that might be pretty incentivizing for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a few ways to look at it, but at least incentivizing people outside of money to saying like, hey, you can go out and get something of value here. I think that's really important.
Yeah. I mean, so I think that's a great insight on the in-season tournament. The Jazz are 2-0.
Yeah.
Looks good. So we played tonight. You know, we play on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we haven't been playing very many games.
No. We play 3 times in the next like week and a half, like not a lot.
Kind of makes me sad.
Yeah, no, I wish
What
there
do
was more
I do?
Jazz. Not watch Jazz basketball.
It's sad, and especially I see the purple, I get all hyped. I'm like, well, I gotta wait till Friday.
Yeah,
But so the Jazz play at home Friday versus the Suns.
Yep,
and that is an in-season tournament game.
correct.
And then on Sunday they play the Suns again away, not an in-season tournament game.
Right.
Then the Lakers on Tuesday. In-season tournament game.
All 3 of those games are nationally televised, which is really cool. I mean, the Sunday game's an NBA TV, so like, it's not a lot of people are watching it.
Yeah.
But Friday ESPN, Tuesday TNT. That's the second and third time the Jazz will be on national television, and they don't play again on national TV until January.
Yeah.
And after that's wraps.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a pretty good shot. I mean, from what we saw tonight, you know, I saw a lot of positives. Saw a lot of positives.
Yeah.
Especially on offense and honestly defense. We gave less than 100.
Yeah.
That's all I can ask for.
No, that's incredible.
That's all I can ask for, and a win. So, you know, I hate being the Debbie Downer. Hate being the negative. I hate bringing things up that aren't super positive. One thing, you know, we talk about Keontae George shining star. What that has given the Jazz is a uncomfortable position on the bench point guard. I mean, we have Sexton and THT coming off the bench.
Right.
They just are not finding their spark together. When it seems like when they're both on the court together off the bench, things just kind of take a seat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's with Keontae going in the starting lineup, we almost lose like the young guy coming off that's giving us energy. And I think we've seen enough where THT and Sexton almost have a hard time gelling with any other group, really, which is it's hard to say. I think we need to give Keontae more minutes. I mean, only 25 tonight.
We're seeing deficiency in the center position as well.
Yeah,
we're missing Walker.
We're missing Walker. I mean, you saw it tonight.
DeAndre Ayton
over.
Ate.
He ate.
He
Any
did a lot.
time that you're just throwing the ball over to the big guy, like over the top, you're in trouble.
I mean, the amount of times that happened in just growing up, there's just always the one big guy. You always played against the one big guy and they just throw it over him.
You can like go to the backside and front him. But in the NBA,
it was the biggest cheat code in history.
I love getting that steal
go to the
over the top.
backside,
Yeah,
man.
dude, you're getting 4 steals a game doing that. But if you do that in the NBA, that cross-court pass for these 6'6" guys.
I mean, these guys can not
easy.
only like do that, but they jump in the air. They can rotate their body completely and pass it to a corner for 3, and they're going to hit it.
Yeah.
Like there's really no answer for it. It's really tough. Otherwise, people would stop it.
Yeah, that's why having positional size is such an advantage, and why it's such a disadvantage that Walker's out for as long as he is.
So, I mean, we're missing Walker Kessler, but, you know, apart from those, I mean, it was a great game.
Yeah, it was fun.
I mean, we saw just about everything positive, and the Jazz, I mean, we're 4-7. We're 1 spot out of the play-in.
Yeah, great.
People were worrying. We said, don't worry. We're only 6 games in.
We're
a couple episodes
of
ago.
the season through the season now. Like we're looking good.
Like there are still we're 4-7. We still have about 70 games left.
Yeah, about
70 games
exactly. Yeah,
70 games
71,
exactly.
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, like what do we have to worry about?
Yeah, not a lot.
We're fine.
The Suns are 4-6 or whatever, they're going to be fine.
We're fine. So, enough about the Trailblazers. Great game. Let's jump right into Paul's play of the game.
Let's do it.
I mean, this is my favorite part. We could show the Collins dunk. We could show the Sexton through the legs. But that's not the idea of this.
No. The idea is to show something fun.
Something fun and something that is a pattern in the game that we can be like, this contributed consistently to a win.
So Jordan Clarkson shot 19 shots tonight. He only missed 6. And I think a lot of that had to do with how well he played inside the offense. I'm going to go through this real quick, and I'm going to show you guys exactly why I think he played super patient. Right here, this John Collins screen that we're about to see is the epitome of patience. So the second he goes here, he realizes that, wow, DeAndre Ayton's playing drop coverage. Like, sure, great. So he just pulls up. I'm going to show the play in entirety, and then we'll go through. Great shot there. Perfect. Whoops. Let's go back. Yep. So right here, you come through. It's a pick. And this is why I love Conjo. I'm going to freeze the frame right here for you. How much money would you put on Jordan Clarkson making that shot?
I mean, if you were to just show me that exact frame, a screenshot, just that exact same frame.
Yep.
A betting odd would be minus 10,000. I personally would throw down a mortgage.
Yeah, sure.
Anything.
Any interest rate on that? You're just going.
I don't care if the interest rate's 20%.
Jeez.
I mean, that seems like the lock of the year.
Yeah, right here.
The confidence that he has, even without context, with him being completely confident in that game.
Yep.
With no context, I think him coming off of something like that, where he sees Collins slip.
Yep, right there.
And he goes, oh, I have a wide open, just dribble down, pull up. Mm-hmm. Especially, he is one of the best shooting guards this year off the dribble.
Going left
left
of pick and rolls, believe it or not. I'm going to stop it right there. But yeah, dude, I think that was my favorite play of the game simply because it showed how patient Jordan was all night. And I think that was a huge part in the win.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll take out a mortgage for that.
Yeah, sure. Why not, right?
I love that.
It was a fun play. I loved it. It was really indicative of how the whole night went.
That's a fun play.
Yeah, that's great.
And so, we can talk about the Jazz. Let's talk a little bit more about the Suns, right? We played them twice in a row. Mm-hmm. I think it's useful to talk about them. Do I know what to expect? Honestly, not really.
No.
One, because they're so-called big three. Mm-hmm. I say that because we haven't seen them play together yet.
Yeah.
Not one game. No. All three of them have played together. Mm-mm. They are 4-6. Not that good. No. And that's probably why they haven't really played together.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what it looks like because to them, they really want to win this game. It's an in-season tournament game. I'm a little terrified of them.
Yeah.
Like, they have really good players on that team.
Nurkic has been awesome.
Nurkic has been awesome. We know what Kevin Durant is. We know what Devin Booker is. We know what Bradley Beal is. If they all three come out healthy on Friday, terrified for the Jazz.
Terrified.
Yeah.
And so, again, it's kind of tough to say. I think we can learn a lot from this game. Just because we have, we've played the Grizzlies, then we played the Trailblazers. So it's like we've played the teams that are going to give us some wins. Yeah. But now it's time to go right back into Suns, Lakers.
And here's the hard part is if we only beat teams we should beat, we're not going to win a lot of games.
No.
There's a lot of good teams out there. We have to steal some of these games.
Like the Clippers game. Like you have to steal that kind of game.
Yeah, and now that's looking a lot better than it did.
It is looking worse.
Yeah, excuse me. But again, you have to win some of these games if you're going to make the playoffs.
100%. And so, I could talk about the Suns all day, again, just not really knowing where to go with it. Uh-huh. But what do you predict? I mean, the home in-season game, it's very apparent to see how the Jazz are treating these in-season games. Yeah. And so I think the game on Friday is going to be completely different than the game on Sunday.
113-128, Phoenix Suns take it. The game's going to be closer than the final score predicts, though. I think it's going to be close until about 4 minutes left. And then Kevin Durant is actually the one to kind of pull them away. He's a Utah killer.
Do you think the Jazz go 0-2 over the two Phoenix Suns spread?
I think yes. I think we lose to the Phoenix on
Friday
and on Sunday. I think we beat the Lakers on Tuesday night though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. We win Friday and we lose Sunday.
Oh wow. So that's big for the in-season tournament.
Yes.
Okay. I like that.
So that's me. I'm gonna go win Friday. Lose Sunday. Mm-hmm. You're going lose both, but then a win versus LA.
Right.
So we'll assess on Monday, what that kind of looks like.
We'll see what it looks like.
And see who gets to brag and boost the ego again.
I hope I will.
There's a chance that neither of us get to. We eat our words.
That there's a chance.
But honestly, That's the best case scenario.
Yeah, it
either
really is.
I'm bragging, either you're bragging, or we're both eating our awards because the Jazz went 2-0.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
That'd be great.
Really, I mean, odds are I'm 66% chance to be happy.
Yeah. And that's really good odds. I'll take those odds over a weekend any day.
I'll take those kind of odds of being happy, versus the slim chance that you beat me here and I become sad.
Yeah. No, I'll take those chances any day of the week.
Any day of the week. So apart from that, the Jazz, obviously amazing. Could sit and watch them play like they did tonight forever. But let's talk a little bit of NBA here.
Let's do it.
I want to do a little game here where we do, a little comparison. Or not necessarily a comparison, but this or that, right? So I'm going to give you 2 players. You're going to tell me who would you rather have right now.
Okay.
Not prime. Not necessarily, none of these players are technically in their prime, maybe.
Sure.
But, who would you pick to start your franchise now? And that is going to start with Shai or Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards. And it's not close. And I'm only chuckling because last week we talked about Banchero and we said that we'd take him over Ant. And I hate myself for that.
Because we ate our words.
Ant is the man. He's a superstar. He's not an ascending superstar. He's a superstar.
No, we ate our words.
He's actually a superstar.
I will hold myself to that for as long as time will come. Shai's fantastic.
No, he's great. I'm not taking anything away from him.
I just think we're basing this off of what we've seen Ant. Mm-hmm. I mean, before the season, this is a different conversation.
Yeah.
10 games into the season, it's very apparent the kind of player that Anthony Edwards is.
I think Anthony Edwards is going to be the face of this league. I really do.
Absolutely.
Like, especially once like Curry, Giannis, obviously LeBron, once they kind of fall off. Ant's the man for this.
Absolutely.
He's built for this, man. He has the aura. He's the guy.
He's special, man.
Yeah.
So my next one. All right, you ready for this one, Paul?
Yeah.
Booker or Donovan Mitchell?
What am I doing? Like starting a franchise with him?
Yes. Now. Right now. And I'm asking you this question because I don't have an answer. And for so long, I was so biased on Donovan Mitchell. One, because he's a Jazz man. You got to be biased. You have to.
I want to say D. Mitch.
You have to. But it's tough. What do you do? Everyone would always say, oh, well, Booker's dropped 70.
Sure.
Well, now Donovan has.
Yeah, 71.
Has 71.
Yeah.
So it's a different conversation now.
You really put me in a box here. I want to say D. Mitch. Can I say D. Mitch? Just the simple fact that he's been not jumping around, but he gives off the idea that he's not happy where he's at multiple times.
But based off of skill, not persona.
I'm taking Devin Booker, man. That made me really cringe as I said it because I'm not a huge Booker fan. But man, he's turned a corner this year, I think.
And that's the thing is like I want to see more of him this year because Mitchell it's almost like he's proving our point.
Right.
He wants us to say Booker because he's gone out there and he's averaging 30.
Yeah.
But the Cavs aren't that good.
No.
And the Suns, he hasn't really played. So it's an interesting conversation where past years it's been more relevant than it is this year. Mm-hmm. But it's a tough one.
I think you have to take Booker simply because he hasn't been playing this year, but he's been in Phoenix for a long time. He shows he can stay off of skill. Man, Donovan's good. Dude,
it's tough.
He's good.
Well, this has been a great episode of STLK in the UTA Jazz Podcast. Lots of fun stuff coming. We've got Eric Mika, like we just barely announced, Thrift Hood CEO Hunter Erickson, lots of fun people that are about to come on to our new Hive podcast, which is basically athletes or influential people in this world that are from Utah, can talk a story about Utah and how that's impacted their career. So we're super excited to get that going. But apart from that, we will be back on Monday. There will not be a pod for the rest of the week. We'll catch you back on Monday, talking more Jazz, talking the weekend, and we'll go from there. So, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to click like and subscribe there on YouTube and stay in touch on Instagram, X, TikTok, everything like that to, stay involved with everything STLKUTA. So like I said, I'm Conjo. This is Paul, and we'll catch you back on Monday. This has been the STLK in the UTA Jazz Podcast. Catch you Monday.